Arguably, Master Duel's best event just went live a couple of minutes ago at midnight EST. The Legend Anthology Academy event is here, and we played 3 matches, losing all 3 coin tosses, but winning all 3 matches because my opponents made me go first. I think they think this is a going second format because you can like OTK with dinos and heroes and stuff, but we are of course using Dark Magician. Full video deck list is in the description with full analysis and deck breakdown, so check that video out. But this deck is really fun, really effective. I might make some tweaks like take out Monster Reborn, put in something else, that kind of stuff. But let's go ahead and take a look at these matches now. So losing my first coin toss in my first match, my opponent actually makes me go first, and my opening hand is pretty solid here. The Monster Reborn is a dead card, so like I talked about, I might end up cutting this card, but you know, we're going to be able to put it back with Illusion of Chaos at least because we grabbed something useful and put back the Monster Reborn. Then we're going to activate Magician's Soul, get everything into rotation first, and then go ahead and activate Soul Servant, stack the field spell so that we can grab it off of Circle here, and then trigger the Eternal Soul to draw 1 because we knew we were going to draw a Lava Golem because letting my opponent go second, I'm going to be able to break their board if they put anything up. And we end turn knowing that we have Circle for banishing off Eternal Soul that we linked up the Dark Magician for the Im Duck, and we have a Torrential Tribute to clear the opponent's field. We've got Illusion of Chaos's follow-up, Lava Golem for board breaking. There's nothing the opponent can do, so they just scoop after making us go first. They were on Gunkan OTK, by the way. Alright, so it's been a little while since I played Dark Magician, so I may not make the most optimal plays, but I will learn and get better with the deck. Right here, my hand isn't the greatest. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I lost all of my coin tosses and my opponent was making me go first. So I activate Dark Magical Circle first, and I don't opt to use Soul Servant to try to stack the deck to get a card off of Circle because I wasn't really sure of what I could grab off Circle and what I couldn't necessarily. Like I know you can't grab Magician's Souls, you can grab the Field Spell or Eternal Soul, so I was just playing it safe for now. My opponent reveals why they made me go first, and they wanted to go second. It's so that they can OTK me with heroes. So they were definitely setting up a big board. And last minute I made a change because I didn't pull a Garua, so I took the Super Polys out of my deck and I put in 2 Torrential Tributes. And look at this coming in clutch. They were going to use the Stratos effect to destroy the spells and traps up to the number of hero monsters they control. So I actually didn't know this until this interaction happened, but if I Torrential here, it wipes all of the hero monsters off the field, which means they don't have anything to trigger the destruction of any of my spells and traps. So I just changed Soul Servant because I'm expecting my field to get wiped. But by the time Stratos resolves, Torrential has already resolved, killing all of their heroes, and therefore there's nothing left on the field for the Stratos effect to resolve to destroy cards up to the number of hero monsters they control, because they control 0 when this card resolves. So you can see here my Circle stays on field actually. But I was going to stack my deck with Soul Servant anyways for the Rod, so it's neither here nor there. They have used their normal summon, that's why I opted to use the Torrential on the summon of the Stratos, but they reveal they do have an extender in the Miracle Fusion, and I was anticipating the Absolute 0, and this is perfectly fine because Dark Magician can play around this card easily. The thing we have to worry about is the mass change that they brought to their hand, because that's going to bring out the Acid, which will wipe my back row, and if I have an Eternal Soul up on the field, it will also destroy all of my monsters, so we have to be very, very careful of that. So we do draw the Rod that we stacked with the Circle, and I think I make a misplay here. I think this is the correct play. I'll point out where I think I made a misplay. So I grab Secrets because I can use Secrets to fusion summon into the Dark Magicians, which I know he will trigger Mass Change to get rid of the Absolute 0, which will destroy the Dark Magicians, and that will trigger the Dark Magicians to bring out the Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl from my deck. And then because of that, I will then have to deal with an Acid on the field that has a 2600 attack, which means neither my Dark Magician Girl or my Dark Magician can beat over it. So I'm actually planning this all out in my head, thinking ahead here, and I think up to here was the correct play. But yeah, sure enough, they do Mass Change, bring out Acid to wipe the Circle off field as expected. Right, I draw a card off of the Dark Magicians because of the Mass Change being activated. That's great. Draw another Soul Servant, which is crazy. Yeah, so my monster dies as expected, and now I'm going to trigger and bring out Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician. So the misplay I can't trigger Soul Servant to draw 2 in the graveyard because I'm in my battle phase. So maybe this wasn't a misplay. I put the Dark Magician Girl in attack because I'm expecting to link this Dark Magician off into the graveyard, which will put the Dark Magician Girl at 2600 because I have one Dark Magician in the graveyard already. So I'm not worried about it getting beat over. This Soul Servant will be able to stack a card on top of my deck, but I can't activate the Soul Servant in the battle phase. So maybe this wasn't a misplay bringing Dark Magician in defense, because I was thinking I could activate Soul Servant in the battle phase, bring the Secrets of Dark Magic back to my hand, because it's not once per turn, and then just fuse for another Dark Magician fusion, and then just beat over the acid. But that's not how it works. So I actually stack, so see here, I actually stack the Dark Burning Magic, which I can't trigger the Soul Servant to banish and draw during the battle phase, because that would be nice to be able to draw this Dark Burning Magic and then just activate it, destroying both their cards, and then just attack for game, basically, right? So that's why I thought maybe bringing Dark Magician in defense mode was a misplay, but it wasn't. So anyways, we go ahead and we draw 2, link off the Dark Magician into Imduck, and we have Magician's Combination, which is good. We set the Dark Burning Magic, activating Magician Souls here. Okay, the opponent's going to trigger the Vision Hero Increase to special summon, sacrificing the acid, and we are going to bring back a Dark Magician from the graveyard. So now we have all 3 Dark Magicians in rotation, which actually isn't the best because we want to keep some in our deck in case we get another Magician Souls, because we've only gone through 1 Magician Souls here. But having both of these on field does make our Dark Burning Magic live, and our Magician's Combination is live because we have both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in rotation. So this is a free once per turn Omni Negate. I believe it's an Omni Negate once per turn when a card or effect is activated. Yeah, so any card, magic spell, spell, trap, or monster, tribute a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, especially the other one from the graveyard, and just negate the card. So you have to activate this on the chain. So if the opponent chain blocks, you will only negate the last card in the chain. So keep that in mind. It's not targeting negate. Okay, so Vision, we're actually, we could have activated the Dark Burning Magic here and got rid of their cards, but they have a Malicious in graveyard, which they can special summon to extend. So I'm actually waiting to see what they're going to do here. I knew that this Vision here was going to grab a Poly, and that's fine. They opt to link into Cross Crusader, and then bring back Malicious. So yeah, it looks like waiting on this Dark Burning Magic was a misplay, because this is just free real estate for them. They basically just got a +1 off of it, right? Because if I would have Dark Burning Magic, getting rid of both of these cards on field at once, they don't get the Poly to hand, and they don't get this extension off. So I just gave them a free Poly. So looking back at this, usage rate 0.006, that's crazy. Anyways, looking back at this, I see that I do make a misplay. So now that I have used the Dark Burning Magic, I can trigger the Rod in the graveyard, tributing off the Dark Magician, because I don't need both on field anymore. My Magician's Combination for the negate is still live though. So they normal summon Stratos, and I'm like, I have to negate that, unfortunately. So tribute Dark Magician Girl and bring out Dark Magician in defense mode, which again might be a misplay. Could have probably brought it out in attack, but it negates the Stratos there. Now they go Destiny Hero, banish, special summon, and this is what I mean. Like, this is a misplay, because if they don't have this, they have no extension, but they do reveal they have Plasma in hand. So yeah, keeping them off of the Poly would have made sure they had no extension. So I just made this a little bit harder for myself. But you don't want to shotgun your cards, right? So it's neither here nor there. But this opponent played it kind of the best they could, but we are still in control of the match. We draw Eye of Timaeus, which is super strong. But we have no way to get Dark Magicians in rotation this turn. We have to go for Rod, grab Salvation, which will set the Eternal Soul. This will get our Dark Magicians back in rotation. Activate Soul Servant, which draws us 2. Super broken in this format. We get Preparation. Again, we play 5 copies of Illusion of Chaos, 3 Prep, 2 Illusion. Illusion is not going to be able to trigger. Grab Timaeus, put back the Eye, which we'll draw next turn because we can't use it right now. And then I discarded the now useless Bond between teacher and student. I probably will cut this now that I think about it, because there's many other ways to get Dark Magician Girl to the field. But regardless, it's still useful here in being discard fodder for Timaeus. So Timaeus comes to the field, we attack over the Stratos. I forgot about, I knew about this effect, but I forgot about it activating when I attacked. So they do get the Vision Hero there. We do draw the Floodgate though in the Power Sync Stone. So if you watch my decklist video, you know what this card is going to do. Usage rate 0.04. Only 2 monster effects per turn. So they go battle phase, beat over the Rod, which is totally fine. They have no other extension. End phase, we're going to Eternal Soul. Make a little bit of a misplay technically. It's not a misplay, I guess. Like Magician's Salvation doesn't resolve to bring Dark Magician Girl back because I'm activating Rod to tribute the Dark Magician. But I think getting Rod back to hand is more important in this instance anyway. So yeah, monster effect was activated though, so that's 1 counter, which means only 1 more monster effect could be activated at this point. So each time a monster effect is activated, place 1 spell stone counter on this card. While this card has 2 or more spell stone counters, face-up monsters on the field cannot activate their effects, and their effects are negated. So, and then during each end phase, the counters are cleared. So we draw Eye of Timaeus as expected. We don't need to use Illusion. We normal summon Rod to grab the second circle from our deck. We activate Circle, then we're going to trigger off, well, okay, we excavate the 3 and grab a soul off of it. We're going to use Eternal Soul that's on the field to bring back Dark Magician. That will banish the Spell and Trap Vision Hero that they have down there, and also triggering Field Spell to bring back Dark Magician Girl. And look at our field. We're about to OTK. We could have popped off with the Eye of Timaeus, but the opponent ends up scooping. So good match between Heroes and Dark Magician. This is probably going to be a very common matchup for this event. And then the other one, if you're playing Dark Magician, would be how do you fight against Dino. So as soon as I face a Dino deck, I will post that. But if this video isn't already too long, I might throw in one more match. If not, thank you for watching, and I guess Quantum is out. Alright, I think this is a quick one, so I'll throw it in here just to show you guys again some of the utility with this deck, with the way we built it. So again, I lost my coin toss, opponent made me go first, so I'm like, that's totally fine. We're gonna go ahead, Magician Souls into Dark Magician, link it off to Imduck. We've hard drawn the Eternal Soul as well as the Dark Circle and the Magician's combination, so we're able to put all 3 cards into rotation here. Upon summon of the Armed Dragon, we shotgun the Eternal Soul to banish this card off the field, because I'm going to put you on, you better have a good extension, and sure enough they do not. It looks like they're playing the Armed Dragon loner deck, so again, good matchup for your knowledge to see how this deck fares against some of the loners. The opponent passes turn. We knew we were going to draw Prep because we had stacked it with the Circle, so we grab Illusion of Chaos, and the opponent kind of realizes, okay, they're going to go full extension, and we're going to be banishing their cards with Circle. We've got Eternal Soul, we've got Dark Magician in rotation, like there's going to be nothing they could do, so they just scoop it up.